Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Where are we? Heading down from Armu. We're going to drop to Konya, the Limassol roundabout. You're going to get views to die for. And of course, we are heading to the Paphos Harbour on a spectacality of a day indeed. The sky, it's blue. The sea, it's blue. If you haven't guessed it by now, Mr. Paul is dressed head to toe in blue. So that must mean one thing. All that's missing is you. So come on, get yourself on a big bird or a canoe or perhaps a bicycle and start pedaling like crazy, because Paphos, Cyprus, Marika and me, oh yeah, we're waiting especially for you. Look at that for a view over the treetops and the rooftops, all the way over the top of Paphos down to the blue Mediterranean Sea. And there's a little bit of digging going on in and around Konya. They're putting in some new pipe works because of course they're building more and more houses. So perhaps if you're looking for the perfect place to live, you never know, Konya, Armu could be that perfect place, because it's literally only 5 minutes to Paphos town centre and 10 minutes or thereabouts, subject to the traffic, to the main event, which of course is downtown Kato Paphos, the promenade, the harbour, and the most famous street in the world, which is Bar Street. And of course, if you're looking for a great place to hang out from 12 o'clock noon until 12 o'clock, or even a little bit later on many evenings, why not come and see us at the Marika and Me Lounge Bar on that most famous street in the world, which of course is Bar Street. I'd like to say a huge thank you to one or two of the guys that have popped in. If your name is Sir Troy, and of course his very own beauty, Lady Liliana, and of course the princess known as Princess Nicole, and the Viscount known as Viscount Daniel. Thank you very much for coming to see us now and again, and thank you for your company. I consider you to be our friends for life. We wish you a safe trip back to Portugal, and of course we'll look forward to seeing you when you come back to the island of love for the rest of your lives. Yes, 2 more people and their family that are relocating to Paphos very soon indeed. Massive thank you to Sir Brian, the singing sensation. You saw him on a video singing his heart out at the Marika and Me Lounge Bar. He's moved to Paphos, and I think he's now been here for 2 weeks, and he's having the time of his life. And if you want to catch up with his little travels and adventures, you can go and hunt him down on his very own YouTube channel, and of course that is Path to Paphos. And he pops into the Marika and Me Lounge Bar quite often, has a coffee or two, and educates us on many things like the sound system that we'll be installing very soon indeed. Lady Rachel came in last night. Thank you very much indeed. And she wanted to hear me say, get yourself on a big bird or a canoe or perhaps a bicycle and start pedaling like crazy. The Nantwich crew, they stormed the Marika and Me Lounge Bar last night. Massive surprise. They always keep it a secret, and they hadn't let the cat out of the bag until my mate, who's not that little anymore by the way, Gangster Max, stormed the main entrance, followed by Princess Megan, and then of course stormed by my great friend Lord of the Simon, and of course the girl in charge of the Nantwich crew, Lady Jessica. Thanks very much for coming to see us. We wish you a fantastic day in downtown Kato Paphos, and we're pretty sure that you'll pop in and see us once or twice. Lady Kerry, Lord of the Tony, thank you very much indeed. The list goes on and on. Big shout out to Sir Mark and Sir John. They joined us yesterday. They popped in for a drink and, well, stayed a little bit longer, shall we say, until we chucked them out just after 12 o'clock. But we're looking forward to seeing you again when you pop into the Marika and Me Lounge Bar on the most famous street in the world, which of course is Bar Street. Now, we've just come out of Konya. We've come over the Limassol roundabout. To give you a reference, McDonald's is about to come up on the left-hand side. So this is the uptown McDonald's, and then there is one down on the Tomb of the Kings Road as well. So if you fancy a Big Mac and some chips and a large Coke, why not pop into McDonald's? But remember, if your name is Lady Andrea and Lord of the Mart, it's not quite as cheap as it is in the UK, and I don't think you can use your vouchers over here. But still, we all like to pop into McDonald's now and again, don't we, just to see how much smaller that Big Mac and that large fries has got. This is the problem all over the world, isn't it? Everything's getting smaller and smaller, but the price is going up and up. But anyway, that's the world that we live in. Do you fancy buying an MG or a Ford? Well, just over there on the right hand side is the main dealer. So if you fancy buying a hybrid MG or an electric MG or a Ford, perhaps a Ford Puma, perhaps a white one like Lady Andrea, the girl in charge of the traffic lights, and I'll bet she is enjoying her school holidays and having a fantastic time sitting in the garden, perhaps planning her next trip to the island of love, which of course is Cyprus. Now, if there is something that you want me to talk about, by the way, perhaps if you've missed some of the videos of relocating to Cyprus, what's it like to live in Cyprus, buying a car in Cyprus, drop it into the comments, and there could be a little video coming very soon indeed. There was a comment the other day talking about taxes in Cyprus, so I'll read a little bit on the internet and ask a question or two, and perhaps construct a video talking about the tax advantages of living in Cyprus. And there are quite a few, especially if you're relocating and your income's coming from offshore, or perhaps if you've got pensionable income from the UK. And I've mentioned this many times. Brexit, I mean, I don't care about Brexit. I'm not for it or against it, but it has caused the odd problem or two for people from the UK that want to relocate to Cyprus, but not the problems that the man in the pub tells you about. If you've got a couple of bob, and I don't mean you're a millionaire, but if you can, well, shall we say raise 30-ish thousand, you could make that dream and make the move to live in downtown paradise, the island of love, which of course is Cyprus, and have a fantastic rest of your life. And your lifestyle will change an awful lot if you say are coming from the UK, because remember, the weather here, as you can see today, is simply amazing. Temperature, and the time is 11 is 25 degrees, and the forecasting tonight that the minimum temperature will be 16 degrees. So shall we say 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock out and about, perhaps sitting at the Marika and Me Lounge Bar, or perhaps sitting in the Kato Paphos Promenade and Harbour, it's probably going to be around about 17, 18 degrees. So you're going to spend a lot of your time out and about, perhaps walking around, sitting on a beach, sitting in your garden, perhaps dipping in the pool. Total different lifestyle to the UK. So perhaps you don't need to relocate to a 4-bedroom or 3-bedroom detached like you may have in the UK. Perhaps a townhouse, 2 bedrooms, perhaps an apartment might suit your purposes better. So I truly believe that the cost of living in Cyprus is cheaper than it is in the UK. Obviously, you can come to Cyprus and spend a lot more money if you choose. But in general, if you're going out and about, the cost of a coffee is normally a little bit cheaper than the UK, and there's no doubt about it that normal eating establishments are cheaper than the UK. Petrol is about the same price, road tax, those kind of things are about the same, but car insurance, I think, is quite a bit cheaper. So you drop in the comments, how much are you paying for car insurance on something like, let's say, a BMW 3 Series? In the UK, I would imagine most people are paying £500, £600, so that's what, 650, 700 euros a year. In Cyprus, you'll be paying probably around about 450 to 500 euros. So again, another saving. And remember, in general in Cyprus, because it's quite a small place, you're commuting around, going to the shops, the supermarket, the harbour, the Marika and Me Lounge Bar, you're not going to do quite as much mileage normally anyway. So yet again, another saving. And I talked about this in a video the other day. Now, I'm not attacking the state system of the schools in Cyprus, but many people obviously will put their children into a private school if they relocate to Cyprus. But the school fees are much, much cheaper. Take the Aspire School. I was sitting chatting with Sue and Paul the other day, and Sue is in charge of when you go to join the school. So she's in charge of all that kind of thing. And she's done that all her life, and she does it because she enjoys it, not so much for the money, because of course Paul and herself were abroad for many, many years. So she does it for the love of it. And that's what came across in the conversation when I was chatting to her. I understood if the Aspire School didn't pay her, she would be more than happy to do the job. She loves her job, and she loves interacting with the parents and the children. And I think it's a great school. And there's other great schools in and around Paphos, by the way. I'm not in the pay of the Aspire School. That's not how we work. But the fees, she told me around about €7,000, and that's per annum, not per term. In the UK, well, for those of you with kids in private schools, I doubt if you're keeping one of your littlies in a private school for less than £20,000. And in many cases, it's a lot more than that. Anyway, some of the great savings and advantages of living on the island of love, and in particular in downtown Cyprus. Now, this is the Hotels Road, as we call it. To give it its correct name, it's the Paterdonis Avenue, and it is occupied by a hotel or two. For example, this one coming up now, Alexander the Great Hotel, doesn't need much of an introduction. A very, very popular hotel indeed. Many, many people stay there once, twice, 3 times a year. For example, our girl in charge of the show. That's our day man, and I'm pretty sure that she is getting very, very excited indeed, because in but 3 weeks or so, she'll be getting on a big bird and jetting into downtown Paphos. And hopefully, fingers crossed, she'll come and join us at the Marika and Me Lounge Bar on Bar Street, the most famous street in the world, very, very soon indeed. And if you don't click off just yet, at the end of this road, we will circumnavigate Bar Street and show you exactly where the Marika and Me Lounge Bar is. And then we will come back onto this part of the road and head down to downtown Kato Paphos Promenade and Harbour. So you get to see the main events, the beauty, the spectacality, and all of the blueness. And you may have noticed there are 1 or 2 people walking around lightly clothed. Yes, because it's now 26 degrees. See, a little bit hotter and a little bit warmer in the Paphos Promenade and Harbour area. But it's a great, great place to come for your holidays. Perhaps if you've not been to Paphos before, get on that internet, have a quick look, because there are some good deals. There really, really are. I'd like to say a massive shout out and a big, big thank you to Lady Doreen, and of course the man of her dreams. He's a bit of a hot pursuit driving gentleman in a Porsche, yes, and his name is Sir Keith. Thank you very much for coming to see us. Hopefully they're going to come and see us again before they go back to the UK. And a little birdie has told me that their daughter, Lady Rachel, is going to come and join us as well. And if she's coming, that must mean that Sir Dom is coming. So we're looking forward to that. And we wish her a fabulous trip and a very calm flight from the UK to downtown Kato Paphos in a couple of days' time. And we'll be waiting for you at the Marika and Me Lounge Bar, which is coming up on the left-hand side. There's the notorious bar, and that's the Marika and Me Lounge Bar right next door to it. So if you're looking for a relaxing day, you come and see us. We open at 12 noon and we close officially at 12 midnight, but if there's a crew in there, don't worry, we're going to stay open that little bit later. And quite often over the last few days we've been open till 12:30, 1:30, and I remember when the man from Kato Paphos, Sir Brian, and a few other guys were in the bar, we were there till just after 2 o'clock. So yeah, great, great company. And of course, if you've got great, great company, time just goes, doesn't it? T&J Fish and Chips there, by the way. Great fish and chip shop in downtown Paphos. That's the Almira Hotel, another great 5-star hotel, literally sitting on the beachfront. If you go out the back door, you will be casting your eyes on the blue, 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 blue Mediterranean Sea. So huge thank you to all of the guys that come and see us at the Marika and Me Lounge Bar. It's very, very much appreciated. And of course, that's how hopefully we're going to help to fund the little channel known as Marika and Me. But if you'd like to gift us a coffee, perhaps via the Buy Me a Coffee platform, and I do wish a massive, massive thank you to all the people that do. How do you do it? Well, hunt us down, Marika and Me Buy Me a Coffee, or Buy Me a Coffee Marika and Me in Google, or go and hit the link on our About page, on our YouTube page. That'll take you straight through. You can read a little bit more about us, and of course you can read a comment or two. And we do thank you very, very much indeed for that virtual coffee, or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 that you may choose to send us. Thank you very, very much indeed. And of course, if you wish to join us as a Superstar member on the Buy Me a Coffee platform, starting off at only a tenner a month, again, we thank you very, very much indeed. Perhaps if your name is Sir Richard, you've got your very, very own blonde beauty. She's known as Julie of the Nash, and they've got a superstar of a son who's not that little anymore, by the way. He certainly is a big, big lad. He likes to dress in blue. His name is Viscount Leo. Thank you very, very much indeed for your continued support on the Buy Me a Coffee platform. And a massive shout out to a man in downtown South Wales who likes to listen while he's driving to work. We call him our mountain man. His name is Lord of the Lee, and his girl. They'll be coming back to Paphos very, very soon indeed. Of course, Lord Lee and Lady Vicky, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Now, talking about tall men, there was a gentleman came into the bar yesterday who was 6'5". His name is Sir of the Terry. It was a pleasure to meet you, and he was telling us that the Carlsberg was ice cold and he really, really enjoyed it. Let's let these guys go on their scooter. Nope, she wants us to go. There we go. And after that, there was a gentleman that came and there was even taller, 6'7". Yes, Lord of the Lee, the same height as you. And of course, that is Sir of the Mark. And his mate was with him as well, Sir of the John, but he was a little bit shorter. He was about my height, but we had a great, great chuckle. And they're all the way from downtown in Hazel Grove in Manchester. So we'll look forward to seeing them when they come back to Paphos. Downtown Kato Paphos Harbour, pretty busy, as we can see, lots of people enjoying the sunshine, the spectacality, having a great, great time on the island of love. That must mean one thing, all that's missing is you. So come on, as Lady Rachel would say, get yourself on a big bird or a canoe, start paddling like crazy, because Paphos, Cyprus, Marika and me, you've guessed it, we're waiting especially for you. Thanks for watching. Oh, by the way, don't forget to hit the subscribe, and please don't forget to hit the like. Doesn't cost you a single penny. And there is one last thing for me to do. I've got a little boy's cigar, I've got a lighter, I'm going to light it up and say those magic words. There's no doubt about it, life is good on the island of